Well, Sean Lennon here, Pro Wrestling Enforcer Podcast. Well, actually, you are watching and listening to the PWE Report, and we've got our co-host Danielle Luhrsen here. Danielle, say hello to everybody. How you doing? And
Hey everyone, it has been a hot minute, but I am doing good. Excited for this upcoming Friday with CSW, and then also next week I will be going to POW, and so there's just a lot of wrestling coming up for me in the next few weeks.
Yes, I mean, talk about that. POW, they just announced a big show that they're going to be doing an all LGBTQ show.
Yes, it is called You Better Work from POW Entertainment. It will be taking place, I think that show is June 3rd before their June 4th Summer Explosion show.
Okay.
And I'm being corrected by my brother who's just stepped out of the shower. What was that, bro? Okay, so I had the shows mixed up. It's the other way around. So it's Summer Explosion and then You Better Work.
Oh, okay.
For those who haven't gotten their tickets for any of those shows, go contact Jimmy Blaze, and then it will be at the Brower House in what town is it, bro?
Lombard, I think.
Lombard. So
yeah,
definitely get those tickets. They're going fast, especially after the Wrestle Rage show that took place there. First ever sold out crowd.
Right.
And it was the first ever one that they had a pay-per-view stream. So it's going to be those shows are going to be hot.
Right. Well, I want to get into Chicago-style wrestling. We recapped the last show, which was Lucky You. Now we're going to get into their next show, which is this Friday night. And this Friday and Saturday, there's wrestling, but Saturday is in LaSalle. Dreamwave is going to be happening, and I believe it's their 5-year anniversary or 8-year anniversary. It is sick. Like, have you seen who was on that card?
No, I haven't.
Okay. It's the 8th year anniversary. John Morrison's going to be there. Alex Shelley's going to be there. Nick Wayne's going to be there. Michael Bennett's going to be there. Ricky Morton's going to be there. Manders is going to be there. Mance Warner is going to be there. Everybody, all those stars. Nick Wayne, Gringo Loco, Bike Speedball Bailey, and Warhorse. That is a stacked card. It is sold out, as well as Vic Capri and all the other Dreamwave regulars. What do you think of this show? I mean, John Morrison is going to be a part of Dreamwave. Yeah, I mean, I kind of had music playing there for it. I mean, Ricky Morton's going to be there, probably his son, Kerry Morton. I mean, this is going to be a huge show, a huge night of action. And you know what I also have to talk about is NWA was in Chicago. NWA 312. Did you hear about NWA 312?
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah, that was a good night of action. We got to see at NWA 312 Camille defend the women's title against La Rosa Negra. That was the first time I got to see La Rosa Negra perform. And that was a great match between two very seasoned veterans. Well, I mean, I think Camille's just coming onto her own right now. You know, people may say she's a little green, but I think she's really shown that she's a big star for NWA. We saw her in CSW a couple months ago. So that was a big win for her. Also, the main event was Tyrus and Chris Adonis. And Tyrus defended the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship against Chris Adonis, formerly Chris Masters. Bully Ray and Tom Latimer in a singles match. That went to a disqualification. Scion lost to EC3 for the National Heavyweight Championship. The World Tag Team Championship titles were defended as La Rebellion took on Magnum Muscle, and they won. Kerry Morton defeated Joe Lauzon. Not Joe Alonzo. My bad. You remember Joe Alonzo. And
oh, yeah.
Kenzie Page defeated Maxie Impaler in a surprise. She used a chair to her advantage. Can you believe that Maxie Impaler lost? And now Kenzie Page is the women's television champion. Also, Yabo the Clown, he lost to Kratos. It was great seeing Chicago's Yabo the Clown on the 312 pay-per-view card. And also, there was a Bob Luce Memorial Battle Royal won by Thrillbilly Silas Mason. And that was all the main card. There was also prelim shows, and what was great is on the Bob Luce Memorial Battle Royal, we got to see Cody James and Mario Perdua from CSW were in the Battle Royal, as well as Chico Suave was in the Battle Royal. How cool is that?
That's actually pretty amazing, especially since it's very, very rare that NWA is able to get into the Chicago Atlanta area.
Yes.
So, but I will admit it was nice to see that Yabo, Mario, and Cody James and a couple others that we know get a chance to really showcase what Chicago has to offer in the way of wrestling, and could also open the doors for them to either get contracts with NWA in the future, or give them more exposure to maybe one day, obviously, like we've seen the likes of Nick Wayne, Sky Blue, and so many other talents getting signed to the contracts with AEW and WWE. So this really gives a chance to like showcase what we have to offer and could set up the doors for their futures.
Yes, for sure. And, congratulations to those guys getting that spotlight. Also, Ryan Matthews, I'm not a big fan of. He was part of NWA 312, as well as, I think, Victor Anestra, who's actually has a match that's on YouTube. His match is on YouTube already. So it was great seeing all those people from NWA from the Chicago area getting these opportunities.
Wait a minute. Ryan Matthews has in Team Sexy Ryan Matthews, correct?
Yes.
And just remember, guys, Ryan is still ugly.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you were going to say he is beautiful.
Ish, but he's not that beautiful. More ugly than anything. You know it's a compliment when, obviously, my brother and I joke about my looks all the time. And so he says, my sister's prettier than you. So I'm like, oh, I take that as a compliment, but in a way it's also an insult. But I always tell my brother this. It's okay, bro. I can fix my face with makeup. You're just ugly.
Yep. Well, we recapped the last CSW. Now we have some big matches in store for Chicago Style Wrestling. And it all begins on this Friday. Make sure to be there. If you're not going to be there, you can watch it on IWTV Live. It's going to be live around 7:30 p.m. And the biggest match we have, of course, is the CSW Championship match, Vic Capri and Axel Rico, one-on-one.
Yeah, that match is going to be hard-hitting. Obviously, Vic Capri is much older and much more experienced than Axel Rico, but Axel Rico is no stranger to the independent circuit. Obviously, being in CSW, now making his rounds at POWW Entertainment. And so I think he's even done Rocket Pro, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think he's even doing Black Label Pro a little bit.
He's also a former Galley Discovery champion as well.
I mean, exactly. Like, he is no stranger to having that experience either. But
right.
I think they're not going to let the title go too soon from Axel Rico, as he only won it back in November. And based on history, we know from CSW, they like to do a good amount of time their people being champion. So, I mean, Joey Avalon was champion for almost a year, right?
Yeah, he won it, and he won it at the season finale or whatever they call it, Second City Showdown, the first one, which is like their season finale, and then he lost at Second City Showdown too. Yeah, so he had it for a whole calendar year, and I think Axel Rico is going to win this match. I think that there might be some shenanigans on the outside that might cost Vic Capri the match, or Axel Rico. It might be a disqualification. Who knows? Because the hate creepers or the hate keepers are going to be involved in this matchup. We'll see. But I'm going with Axel Rico. I'm going with the younger guy on this one. But Vic Capri, a former CSW champion, can't take anything away from him.
Definitely, but I will go with Axel Rico just based on what we know from the CSW when it comes to how long the champion usually is.
Right.
But you never know. Steve Aaron and Steve Boz might say, nay. Mm-hmm. We are going to have a new champion. So we'll see what the cards have to hold tomorrow.
For sure. Actually, Steve Boz, a little something. Steve Boz has no authority in creative with CSW.
I just learned something new.
It's more like, it's GM Steve Aaron, and there's another person, but we can't name him because then it would kind of ruin the character, if you know what I'm saying. So we can't name him on the air. Rhyno and Solomon Tupo. Now, I like Rhyno coming into CSW. He's been here before in the past, but that's why it's called the second coming, because he's here. I like this matchup. I like Tupu getting a prime matchup in this one. He was in a scramble match his last time around, which he didn't get to win. But this is a big match. It's just two big guys, two hosses going at it. I feel they're just going to destroy each other until there's nothing left of them. But at the end, I think Tupu needs this win. And I feel like he's going to come out on top in CSW.
I am actually going to go the opposite direction. Usually a lot of, your visiting talent usually get the victory. So
yeah,
I'm going to go Rhyno just based on that assumption. But, I mean, you are correct. How do you pronounce it again?
Tupu
definitely needs to get that victory.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
For sure. And I'm a big Rhyno fan as well. I just think Tupu, the numbers are going to be going into play because Tupu's got the hate keepers on his side, and they're going to interfere in the match. It seems like they interfere in every match they're involved, one of them is involved in. So at this point, that's my prediction. They're going to cost Rhyno the match.
We'll see what happens, but that is definitely a great possibility.
We have Conan Lycan and Adam Stallion. And looking at this match, you're going to say, oh, this is a mismatch. How can Conan Lycan, how can Adam Stallion have a chance? But if you look at Adam Stallion's record, he's had some big victories in his past, and he's starting to come into his own as a veteran. I think, he's one of those guys. He's the gatekeeper, self-proclaimed gatekeeper of CSW. We'll see what Conan Lycan will do to him. Adam Stallion has a win over Shalance Royale, who is the women's OVW women's champion. I believe he has a win over her. He has a couple good wins. He has a win over a former CSW tag team champion in CJ Esparza. We can't forget about that victory he had back in February. So this kid's tough, and no matter what Conan Lycan does, he's got to have a tough kid on his hands in Adam Stallion. And I'm going to say Conan's going to win because of the hate keepers once again interfering. I don't think Conan knows he can take on Adam one-on-one. At least he's not going to allow it to happen. He's going to let the heat keepers interfere if he gets in trouble. So I think Conan Lycan wins against Adam Stallion. But listen, Adam Stallion's tough, man, and he just reposted his matches with Sky Blue. He had a match with Sky Blue that I saw at CSW, match they had before then. So he's taken on the best of the best as Adam Stallion. I believe he's taken on. Yeah, he has taken on Boz in Northland Pro Wrestling. He's taken on Steve Boz as well. I don't think he won that match, but he's taken on Boz. There's so many people that's just crossing my mind. He also took on Chico and another promotion out of Wisconsin as well. So don't sleep on Adam Stallion. He has a win over Chico as well.
Based on the numbers game, I'm picking my boy from the Hate Keepers, Conan Lycan, to win.
Right.
But definitely, you're 100% correct, and I will give you the answer. yes, Adam Stallion did beat Shalance Royal back in November.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's the champion of that from OVW. So he beat a champion.
Yes.
And so you can never underestimate him, but the numbers game, I do believe, will come to play like usually it is with the Haykeepers, because the family's got to protect their own. So
come on.
So I'm gonna go with my boy Conan Lycan.
We'll see what happens. Also, we have Greg Murray versus Chris Miller in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup, 1-on-1, the dog-faced bastard. And these two had a little bit of a fight of their own. It looked like outside the CSW school, which I recognized in a short video that was released. It looks like they had a fight that was impromptu. So they're already going at it. They've been going after each other the last couple months, including back in January and February in the scramble matches. And they're usually fighting disappear and fight on the outside outside in the cold. So it's like the arena, the venue cannot contain the action between these two. So Falls Count Anywhere means they can literally fight outside in the street of Franklin Park, in the train tracks or wherever. You know what I mean? They want to go in the parking lot. So that's going to be a hell of a matchup. And Chris Miller's got it done against tough guys before. I think he's going to beat Greg Murray. I just don't see the dog-faced bastard having to fight to survive, but I could be wrong. And I'm just going with the veteran who I know in Chris Miller. Everybody loves Chris Miller or hates Chris Miller. In this matchup, it's his for the taking, I think.
I will disagree. You can never count out Greg Murray. Whether he's in POW, CSW, I mean, he has had multiple victories himself. But I think just after taking so much garbage from Chris Miller over the past few months, he's really going to just let everything out. And usually when that happens, you better run because things are about to go down. And so I think Greg Murray is going to dig down and really give Chris Miller the ass whooping that this dude needs. And so upon further review, I'm going back to the VAR. If you are a football fan, you get that reference. Chris Miller will suck.
All right. Well, we have a toss up there. There's a scramble match between Shane Hollister, Doom Montgomery, Joey Avalon, Joey Mayberry, and J.J. Garrett.
Oh, gosh. There's so many good names in this scramble match that you can never know how it's going to go. Oh, if I had to pick the top two that I think are going to win this, I'm going to go with Shane Hollister and Joey Avalon, just because Joey Avalon definitely needs a win, especially after the loss him and Sierra took last month at Team Babushka. And then you, of course, Shane Hollister, you never know, because Shane Hollister is also part of my boys, the Haykeepers.
Yes.
So he may have a little help up his sleeve, too. So because of that, that's where another advantage comes into play when it comes to them. So I see those two kind of getting those are the top two in my book, but you can never count out Joey Mayberry, who can do a combination of different styles. And then you have Doom Montgomery. You never know what he's going to come out with. And, of course, J.J. Garrett. He's more of a high flyer, but can be hard-hitting when it's needed. So you can never really count out anybody in a scramble match because each one of them brings something unique to the table. And it just takes one of those split-second things, and then next thing you know, the person gets a victory. So so you really don't know. And ironically enough, I'm wearing my Doom Montgomery shirt.
I'm going with J.J. Garrett because he hasn't had a victory in CSW yet.
True.
So he's the dark horse of this match. And Joey Mayberry, he could very well be. So I'll say either JJ or Joey Mayberry. I don't remember the last time Joey Mayberry has won a match in CSW because he's been in a scramble match, tag team matches, but I don't remember him having like a solo victory. You know what I mean? As well.
Yeah, because like I said, I wouldn't know anything because I've only been going for like almost only a few months now, so I wouldn't have those data banks just yet.
Well, yeah, Joey Mayberry was involved in the tag team match. He teamed up with in the three-way tag team match. He teamed up with Greg Murray.
Yep.
But they did not walk out with the titles. Then the month before that, he was in the scramble match for the Metro Division title. He did not walk out with a title. And then the month before that, he was in a 6-man tag, and I believe they won. I believe he teamed up with Adam Stallion and Marche Rocket, and they came out the victors. So I like Joey Mayberry. He's a good face. When he was heel for a while, he was a baddie, but he's turned face. Let's go on to the mixed tag team match. Heather Reckless and her reunited. This is a storyline that was from a while ago, back in like 2021, 2022. She reunited with Hades, X1X. Obviously, Hades proved to be the one behind stalking Sky Blue. And as you saw, when she opened up that box, that was the mask of Hades that she saw. That's what made her drop the box. I'm sure maybe you didn't know what that was, right? What she said in her hand.
No, because I didn't even know who Hades was until that show.
So Hades X1X has been the thorn in the side of not only Sky Blue, but Steve Boz and other faces of CSW. He was vanquished when Steve Boz beat him out a 2 out of 3 falls matchup to retain to win actually the Metro Division champion back in March of last year, and never to be heard of again until, of course, those damn black roses showed up on Sky's doorstep. And along with a poem, and now I had my intuition that I had my thoughts that Hades was the one behind that, but was it someone new and now we know Hades revealed himself wearing a different mask. Him and Heather Reckless have had a history together, and it makes sense now that Heather is no longer with Cypher, her pet. So now Cypher has now teaming up with Sky Blue, and Cypher cannot wait to get his hands on Heather Reckless. Let me tell you, if you think it's just going to be the woman versus the woman, the men versus the men, Cypher is frothing at the mouth to get his hand on Heather Reckless. He chokeslammed her once, but he wants to keep punishing her again. I mean, you saw me hold up a sign for Heather Reckless. He was choking me in a picture. For hell's sakes, you know what I mean? He did not take kindly to me holding up a sign with Heather Reckless's name. So that just goes to show you, if he was pissed at me, how pissed he's going to be at Heather Reckless. And of course, Sky Blue and Hades, this hasn't going to come to an end. I feel like these two need to have like a Chicago street fight to settle it once and for all eventually, including light tubes. But that's what I'd like to see. I don't think that's going to be allowed. But you know what I mean? Like they really hate each other. There's Hades and Sky. So this is going to be one of those matches. I don't think there's going to be a winner. It's going to be like disqualification or count out or something. You know what I mean? I just don't see a result happening. But if I had to pick the winners of the match, I would say it was going to be Heather and Hades. They're going to find a way to cheat to win.
I, on the other hand, am picking Cypher and Sky Blue because they want revenge for what these two have done to them in the past.
Yes.
So I think just the teaming and just like the way because I mean Cypher and Sky Blue know each other very well too.
Yes.
So I think based on like their history and everything, they're going to gel very well. Mm-hmm. And I think they'll come out on top. But you never know. Those underhanded tactics could come to play with Hades and Heather Reckless. But I don't think they're gonna Cypher and Sky Blue are gonna let that happen, and they're gonna come out on top because they need this after what those two have done to them.
Yeah, we'll see. And congratulations to Sky Blue. She is all elite official, although I knew that she already was, but it's cool that it's official now and they have a sign for it and everything. So congratulations. We're proud of you, girl, Sky Blue.
Hashtag hearts and much respect, girl.
So now we get the women's division. We got Sierra against CSW Women's Champion Sierra against Shelly the Bombshell Benson and Shalance Royale. A triple threat that has got a lot of emotions in the mix because Sierra defeated Shelly the Bombshell Benson thanks to Joey Avalon, thanks to Eric Schultz. And she had Sierra on the ropes if you go back and watch that match. I felt she had the champ on the ropes. I thought she did very well. I thought she was just getting the crowd was amazing behind her. Could she dethrone Sierra in her first title defense before the shenanigans? Now we have Shalance Royale in the mix, the former OVW Women's Champion. She would love nothing more to walk away with another title belt. And Shelly Bombshell Benson, the fan favorite. We all want to see Shelly get her moment and win the CSW Women's title. Someone could arguably say that she's Rookie of the Year, 6 months into business, and she already had her first match, or 7 months into business, and then, now she's been in the business. This is coming on a year, and what a phenomenal year she's had. All the shows she's been on. She's been traveling to Florida. She's been in Wisconsin, all these different states, all these different shows. She's wrestled the best of the best, Sky Blue and Missa Kate. A lot of things in the mix, working the mix. If I'm going to go with who the winner is, I don't want to. I want Shelly to win it, but I think she's going to have to do a little bit more to get it done. Like, I don't think this is going to be the match. I think it's going to come down to Shelly and Sierra at the maybe July, right? And because that's the heat of the night, and they might have some kind of gimmick match. I think that this is going to be a match where Shalance is going to cost Shelly winning that belt, and somehow Sierra is going to come out on top, just as a triple threat. And I think this is going to lead to another match in May between Sierra and Shelly, and then they're going to eventually have a blow-off match. And I think Shelly's going to be the champion by the summer, but I could be wrong. The CSW Women's title, man, so many great names have held that title. So I could see Shelly Benson being that one, but I don't think it happens this Friday. I think it's going to happen later down the road. I don't think Shalance is going to win this belt, and I think Sierra is going to retain it.
I think Sierra's going to retain it as well because that way it gives a little bit more heat for the Shelly Benson versus Sierra storyline. So because you don't want to have Shelly win it too soon,
right?
Because then it's like, where's the heat? Where's the passion?
Right,
so
the payoff.
I don't think Sierra will lose it, and I think Shalance will do a great job in this match. But obviously, Sierra had literally just won it back in November. And obviously, with being with OVW, she's got her other engagements there, so it'd be hard for her to really come back and defend it. So I think it stays at home, but I think Sierra will retain just to keep the storyline going and build it up for I call it, if it goes up in July, let's prepare for the firecrackers to go off.
Yes.
And really let them go at it. And I would love to see them get their even false count anywhere match situation, because that would be awesome to see.
For sure. And congratulations, Sierra. She has made her debut at NWA a couple weeks ago at NWA's TV tapings in Chicago area. And she just had a main event for the first time in AAW, her first time main eventing against Masha Slamovich for the AAW Women's title. So how about that? You go, girl.
Man, all these girls and all these guys who are getting like their moments on all these cool major promotions, as football, aka soccer fans would say, we're going to be giving you your roses. Congratulations, girls.
Yeah, man. And like I said, she actually bled in that match with back in December. I was there when she took on Christy James. Her face was a bloody mess. So, and Masha Slamovich is arguably the best woman in the game right now. So she is doing amazing. At only 23 years of age is Sierra. Cannot look past Sierra at all. You know? Right?
Exactly. And also, if for those who do not pay attention, I think Storm Grayson was on Raw last night as a security guard.
Oh yeah, he was.
So good job to you, Storm Grayson, for even getting yourself out there. And also you had GPA, Joey Avalon, obviously, and our friend Trevor Outlaw doing security on AEW. So these guys are getting around and getting their exposure. So keep it up, the great work, guys. You guys are going places. Keep it up.
For sure. Now the next match is the Haykeepers versus Big Mood for the tag team titles. 2 out of 3 falls. Something's got to give. I think Big Mood should walk out as champions, but with the Haykeepers, you cannot look past, the strength in numbers. I think Big Mood needs to have some backup as well. I don't know who would provide that for them, but for this match, who do you see coming out on top?
I mean, I think the Haykeepers will come out on top, but just because of the numbers game. But even though as much as I love the Haykeepers, I think it's Big Mood's time, especially since they got screwed out of their titles the last time because of the numbers game. True. So I think just based on that alone, Big Mood will get the victory. But I think this will lead to a major beatdown at the end with the numbers game.
Yes. Now we get to the Team Sexy and Anestra taking on Marche Rocket, Perdua, and the BOZ, Boz. Boz not defending his title, but we know Anestra wants a shot at a rematch at Boz's title. There's a lot of bad blood brewing between Boz and these guys. So he's got backup. He's got Marche. He's got Mario Perdua. Who do you see coming out on top?
I think Marche, Boz, and
Mario
will come out on top just based on the experience that they have, whereas the other is Team Sexy and Anestra. Even they're still kind of young and up and coming. Right. So I think just the veterans will just go to town on these young ones and pull off the victory. And just remember, guys, Ryan, upon further review, is still ugly.
We know Ryan is ugly. And his little fat heads that he has on him. I flipped them off. You know that? And he was like, hey. It was that Fusion Wrestling. He had him on a seat.
I think it was Chicago Rob was also saying, hey, I'll be your advocate because you're ugly.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I know. That was funny. That was a great moment. Yeah, you guys can watch this stuff at IWTV live. It's going to be live if you can't be there. But if you haven't been to the CSW show, I think you should go because it's fun. You can get to meet Rhyno and a lot of the other wrestlers hang around, and you meet Sky Blue. You can't beat that. She's doing a lot of conventions now, so it's like these opportunities are rare. Take them while you can afford them, or while they're available. I'm excited for the card. I'm excited for this one, and I also want to talk about
any other matches.
That's all the matches for this one, but I actually wanted to talk about the next show I'm going to as well is Black Label Pro. And are you going to Impact Wrestling?
Unfortunately, due to volunteering at our church's youth
Oh,
convention
okay.
a couple weeks ago. So when you're spending like $83 a night for the hotel room, unfortunately, it was not in the budget this time around. So maybe if they're coming back sometime, maybe in the later summer or fall, we might. But I have to check with my brother.
Okay, well, I have to tell you about this other show, BLP, Too Cold to Hold. And you've been to BLP before when it was in Hoffman Estates. Well, they're going to make their first show in the Chicago area, in Berwyn, for the first time. You know, they were in Hoffman Estates. They have a great match, Dan the Dad versus Steph DeLander. And I'm excited because I haven't seen Steph DeLander since she was in Shimmer. She's been doing a lot of amazing stuff. She's Matt Cardona's heavy in GCW. Also on the card, you've got the BLP Championship. Sky Blue is challenging Billy Starks one-on-one. That is a phenomenal match. I am going to be there for that one. And this is an afternoon show. So if you have tickets for Impact Wrestling, you can see this before. And it's only like 5-10 minutes away.
Oh, wow, that ain't bad.
And then we have Shaza McKenzie with AEW's Lee Moriarty. That was supposed to happen back at BLP a year ago. Joshua Bishop versus Shigehiro Ere. Levi Everett versus Calvin Tankman. Too Cold to Hold is the name of the show. A 6-man tag team with Too Cold Scorpio with Trey Lamar and my guy Isaiah Moore taking on Jordan Oliver and the Bang Bros. And Sandra Moon makes her BLP debut against Rachel Armstrong. And I love all the women on this card, so I'm going to definitely be there. And by the way, Levi Everett and Calvin Tankman is a no disqualification match. And Levi Everett is with your favorite. He's with Frank the Clown.
Oh.
So
screw that clown.
Frank has moved on from freelance and now has grimed his grimy little paws into BLP. And unfortunately, Levi Everett, a Space Monkey, and Big Al, Alice Crowley, are all under the umbrella of FTC, Frank the Clown. What do you think of that?
That is a sick card.
Yeah, that is going to be amazing. That is going to be on the 28th, I believe, or the 29th. And that's going to be before Impact Wrestling tapings on that day. So if you have a chance, and that's going to be at the world famous Berwyn Eagles Club. Have you been to the Berwyn Eagles Club?
No, but I will be at the Berwyn Eagles Club for the ICW No Holds Barred show in
Cool.
June.
Nice.
But however, I think my brother's been there a couple times for, I think, Rise and Shimmer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been there for those as well. So that's coming up. And, of course, I'll talk about Impact Wrestling next week once they have the matches announced. And I think this is it for this week's edition of the PWE Report. And, Danielle, make sure to tell us how your POW show is as well.
I will definitely let you know when it comes to it.
Right, because it's still like, a month away, or?
Well, the POW show, they do what is called the Saturday Night Fights.
Okay.
So this one takes place at T-Wood Bar and Grill in Wooddale, Illinois. So it's like about once a month or every other month they'll do a show there whenever they can get the space that they use for it.
Okay.
So luckily for us, it's next Saturday.
Okay, nice.
So it's on their road to their Summer Explosion show, which will be which is their version of like a SummerSlam.
Right.
So we'll see how things go with that, but I will definitely keep you posted on that. For
sure. Well, Danielle, appreciate you doing this with us, being on the PWE Report once again. You'll be a regular. And everybody go support independent pro wrestling, no matter what show you like, what show you enjoy. And if you go to CSW, say hello to Danielle. She'll be there in front row.
I will Friday, and also all hail the Heat Keepers.
Sounds good, Danielle. I appreciate you. Anytime. Take care.
Have a good one, guys.
You too.